Well, the only thing worse than censorship is unofficial censorship. And that is what Dr. Megha Kumar has faced. She's joining us from Oxford. She's the author of the book Communalism and Sexual Violence, which has every right to be published. You don't need an RSS Pracharak's permission for it. Rahul Ishwar has a contrary view. He's joining us from Thiruvananthapuram. Sohail Seth is joining us from London. If they have decided after the elections to carry out a comprehensive assessment because they fear there may be a violent backlash, then it is something which we must all oppose. It's intimidation, nothing else. I find this to be a clear case of intimidation. I want to know from those who don't think it is not, what kind of argument they present. Rahul Ishwar first. This is intimidation.
Arnabji, liberty is one of the highest cherished values we have. But remember, we also have responsibility. My heart totally goes to our Mohsin Sheikh who passed away. May his soul rest in peace. But you should always remember, even regarding this book or Wendy Dongia's book, liberty is really good, but responsibility is also here. We are living in a very diverse nation. We should be sensitive to the sensibilities of many people. That doesn't mean we have to curtail academic freedom. That only means responsibility is there. And one very important thing, freedom of expression also means freedom of protest. But what did Batraji do? Batraji went to court earlier. Batraji sent a legal notice. Don't we even have the right to send to...
Who is this Batra?
Don't we even have the right to send a legal notice?
Who is this Batra? This Batra is an RSS Pracharak who has not even read Megha Kumar's book. Who is this Batra? Do I need the permission of Pracharak to decide what is to come out or not? Are you saying that I cannot, this country cannot publish anything critical of the RSS? Who is the RSS? Are they the unofficial censors of this country?
He's a common man of India.
What old man of India has not even read the book? No, don't give me. You see, you expressed outrage. People like you expressed outrage when Salman Rushdie was prevented from attending the Jaipur Lit Festival in 2012, and also when there were calls to express Taslima Nasreen and one of her books releases were cancelled. Your silence is palpable now.
Your
silence is palpable now. You are being thoroughly exposed.
We are going for court.
Come on.
No. Even please. In my case, I went against Emma Hussain in the court and won the verdict.
Understand?
We are going in a judicial way.
One sec. You see, the danger is, please realize, we must never let some lynch mobs believe that they came to power. They didn't come to power, you see. The BJP came to power. And if there are some guys who are trying to latch on and say that, you know, we'll latch on, and then the BJP, Pinky Anand, and you're getting upset, it's a responsibility of the BJP as a responsible political party to dissociate itself from such forces.
Anything of this kind adds greater disservice and damages the brand of Narendra Modi's governance model more than it does good. That, you know, this Dinanath Batra and all these kind of people are representative of conservative thought which does not value books for books. If you have a problem, now Rahul Ishwaran made a point that liberty does not come without responsibility. Fair. Let there be contrarian thought.
Why are you silent when people are withdrawing books which are offensive to the RSS? Why are you silent? I want you to speak today on it.
It is not about RSS. If you are having a word like legal intimidation, you are insulting judiciary. When somebody goes to a legal recourse, people should be respecting that. Nobody is issuing a fatwa. Nobody is issuing a violent threat. It is only going through a legal recourse.
That is your interpretation.
What is your interpretation? Don't give me your interpretation argument out here. This is a very serious situation and you are being completely...
Muslim victim complex. I think will do more harm.
Rahul Ishwar, I'd like to come back by going straight to you. See, the Supreme Court, while lifting the ban on James Lane's book on Shivaji in 2010, said it was important to view a book in its entirety rather than focusing on sentences and passages that may be perceived as being offensive. And in the Rangarajan versus Jagjivan Ram judgment, and I'm only going into the legality, right of freedom of expression also extended to ideas that offend, shock or disturb the state or a sector of the population. So overreaction and legal intimidation in response is maybe it's a legal right, but it is a sign of intolerance to views other than your own.
Liberty is to be enjoyed responsibly. Second, and one very important aspect you should remember is, if somebody is offended with something, if somebody is having an issue with something, they are not issuing a fatwa, they are not going for a violent protest. What happened in Pune was unfortunate. When you say something is called legal intimidation, you are in effect insulting judiciary. The right way for the opposite side is to fight in the court. Why can't Emma Hussain sir fight in the court? Why can't Wendy Dongia fight in the court? So let them come to court.
Why didn't you tell Taslima Nasreen to fight in the court? Why didn't you tell Salman Rushdie to fight in the court?
But there are some Lakshmana Rekhas.